Spooky Kid.
Welcome back to another Spooky Kid episode. Got my co-host Jordan here.
Hi. And then we also have our lovely, amazing, beautiful, 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 most beautiful person in the world guest today, David.
Hello, everyone.
AKA in Espanol, David.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So let's jump into
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, he's excited. He's ready.
I'm very excited, actually.
Yeah, David is our horror enthusiast for today's episode. Why don't we start off with you telling us your top 3 horror movies?
For sure, Scream, 1996. Remember the recent 1996, Wes Craven's Scream for sure. A more recent one, probably Nope from Jordan Peele. That one is a fucking insane movie, but I love it. And then third one,
Nope is the one with the aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't seen that one yet, so.
third one. I'm tied between two, but I guess I'd probably have to say Halloween.
Which Halloween?
1978. 1978.
The
Okay.
very first one, right?
Yeah, John Carpenter's. John Carpenter's
Okay.
Halloween.
And when did you first get into horror?
I was about, I want to say 6 years old. My first horror movie actually was Scream. I watched it when I don't know how it got in our household. My mom does not like horror. The only horror movie she had was The Ring. So you would think it'd be The Ring, but Scream somehow got into my household, and I watched it for the first time, and I wasn't like scared. That makes sense. I was watching it, and I'm like, this is kind of interesting. And then from there on, it spawned to like Coraline, and then like Monster House for like the
Monster
kid
House terrified me as a kid.
Monster House. slaps,
Yeah, I haven't
though.
rewatched it since because I'm a Loki scarred. I don't know. I have not rewatched it since I first saw
It
it.
made me kind of laugh. I was like,
Monster
oh,
House.
Well, when I saw it, I was like a little kid, so
I forget how old you are.
yeah.
I'm like, I mean, a lot of horror movies don't really frighten me. The only one that's really gotten me, but I haven't seen it in years, and I was a kid when I saw it, was Anaconda. That's because I hate snakes. The one with J-Lo's terrible acting is what got me scared. Got me running from the TV. No, it was the giant snake. Snakes are not my forte. That's the only thing I think probably like scares me.
I wouldn't say like horror movies scare me. I mean, I guess sort of, because jump scares get me. Like it's just like the sudden noise, and I'm like, oh. But other than that, I'm like, like with slashers and stuff, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I won't be able to sleep. I mean, the only time I think like a horror movie really scared me was when I watched Annabelle when I was like really little.
Annabelle will do it too.
Yeah, I hated dolls ever since. I would rip the heads off of my Barbie dolls. I would burn them.
Annabelle will do. Annabelle, I think. My thing is, I'm not a big fan of like supernatural horror movies. Just 'cause I don't think spirits and like ghosts and stuff to me are very grounded in reality, and a lot of those movies don't feel like that. That's why I like movies like, I guess like a supernatural, like probably Hereditary. As basic as that sounds, Hereditary is like a really genuinely like it's like terrifying, but like it can actually happen. Like,
It seems like more realistic.
Like a cult. I don't like Insidious and stuff, and like The Conjuring. Even though The Conjuring is real, quote unquote,
Based on real events.
based on a true story, as they say.
Yeah.
I just don't think. I think a lot of it is like dramatized for like. The
Yeah. Oh, obviously. Yeah.
I think the actual story is probably like 10% of the movie, and then everything else is just straight Hollywood.
Yeah.
I think the first one, if you told me like little bits and pieces of it were real, I could probably believe it. But like after that, like when we get to the second one with like the nun and like the crooked man, I was like, okay, now we need to.
I watched The Nun and I was like, this is stupid.
All of them are bad.
Like,
That's another thing too. A lot of just like supernatural movies are just not good because it's like.
I'd have to agree. I feel like it's very, I don't know. It just doesn't.
They rely too much on jump scares, and to me,
Yeah, I mean that'll get me, but I'm not like scared. It's more just like it was like out of nowhere. So like the loud noises like kind of just make me jump, but I'm not like scared.
to me, jump scares in horror movies are so pointless and like kind of. I think that's a problem with a lot of horror movies is that they rely too much on jump scares.
I feel like it's even really scary because it almost feels like you couldn't create a good enough story to have it be scary without like just having to surprise someone. Like
Yeah,
out of your natural fight or flight is like if someone jumps out at you, you're gonna be like, oh, okay.
You're scared for like a second. Like
Yeah,
you jump,
I'm like,
and then after
no.
that, you kind of just like you settle down.
You need some
you're
like
kind of,
real suspense, and I'm like,
So, what would make a great horror movie for you?
Ooh, for sure. Gore is not a big one, but like if you have gore in it, gore is always a needed one. But like genuine, your idea of a horror movie has to be terrifying for it to like sit with you. The reason why I love Nope so much is because like on paper, sure it's like an alien movie, but like having a giant UFO in the sky that essentially looks like an eye, like shutting off all the
spoilers, man.
power.
I haven't seen it,
Oh
so-
shit! My bad, spoilers. But I mean like spoilers.
yeah,
Like
cover your ears, cover your
just like I guess just the concept of like that alien is scary. Like Us is another really scary concept. Or even you can even go back as like simple as like Nightmare on Elm Street. Like a man is in your dreams haunting you, and when he kills you in your dreams, you die in real life. Like stuff like that is like genuinely terrifying. You can't just have guys breaking into your house and like he's like chasing you around because it's like yeah that's scary, but like that's not impacting.
but I just feel like
horror
it's just
movies.
been told. Like I'm
That
like,
too.
okay, boring.
I look
next.
for a lot of horror movies that have like
Unique
an impact.
concepts.
Like it needs to be like fresh and creative. That's why I am not the biggest fan of like requels and like sequels and reboots because it's like unless you're adding something to it. Like Wes Craven's New Nightmare did a very good job of it rehatched a death from Nightmare on Elm Street, like Tina's death. I don't know if you guys have seen New Nightmare, but like they recreated, but they show Freddy like actually committing the murder, like dragging her up against the wall. Like that is, in my opinion, when you can do a really good reboot is when you can add something else to the movie. Even though New Nightmare isn't technically a reboot, but like it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's when you can add something to it. That's why I think that's what a lot of requels and reboots miss is that they just rehash the same story. And it's like, okay, we're getting the
Yeah.
same story, but just better camera work or more grittier
This
aesthetic.
is with any genre at this point. It's just
True,
like, I'm
honestly.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like no one's thinking of anything original anymore, and I'm like,
Even with as much as it pains me to say, I do love the new Scream movies, but a lot of the times it feels like they're recycling. That's why I love the sixth one so much because the sixth one is much more different from the previous five. Like even the fifth one was very much a safe like. Let's get back into the genre and let's reintroduce people back to Scream. And then the sixth one.
but the
is when
fifth
they were
one
like,
still felt kind of boring to
Yeah.
me. No offense, like I love the entire cast,
Yeah.
but that's why I really, really liked the sixth one because it felt kind of like the original, like the original one a little bit more.
It feels in a weird way. It feels more original. If that makes sense. 'Cause we have no connection to the original cast besides like Gail Weathers, obviously. But like even in that, we don't have a mention of Sydney because
Yeah, because if you really dive deep into like the new characters with Sam and everything,
which
so.
is what really we didn't get a lot from the fifth movies because like we got. Again, more spoilers. Jesus Christ! I gotta stop talking about movies that
I mean,
are like
it's been
newer.
out, though.
I'm like, I
It's
gotta
been
talk about. But, like, we just got like Sam is Billy Loomis's daughter, and it's like, okay, but like, who else is she outside of her being Billy Loomis's daughter? Tara is Sam's sister. These are the friends, and then we have the returning, like, supporting cast from the previous four movies.
Yeah.
It's like we need long faces. That's why I love the sixth one is because it only focuses on them and like it actually gets you to care about them.
Yeah. That's what I like is when they really get you to like connect with a character because it feels like that much more like intense and painful. And you're like, dang girl, like I'm stressing for you.
I like
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I think really you need good suspense, you need a good idea. Gore is like optional. You don't need gore in horror movies. You can have like subtle kind of gore and like a good plot. Like a lot of horror movies have like a lot of ideas, but like there's no plot to them.
What's your favorite subgenre of horror?
Like what do you mean?
Like slashers or paranormal?
I think I'm more of a slashers girl. I think I've always been like
Yeah,
a slashers
That's true.
person. I've just been really, because I'm obsessed with true crime. So it's like a
Yep.
lot of
Yep, I
a
love
lot
true
of
crime.
the slasher ones are like. But we got to be like you got to be like a little bit more like specific with like slashers because like. I think my hot take. Okay, well, actually, I want to ask you guys a question. What's my turn? I'm interviewing. What's like a horror movie that's like a little overrated to you guys?
Overrated. Ooh.
Like everybody else really loves it, but you just really can't get behind the concept of it.
Wait. I don't know if I feel like this isn't really like a hot take, but like Chucky.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not like a huge fan. It's kind of like weird to say. It's kind of like nostalgic. I feel like that was like one of the first horror movies I saw. Funny I said that after saying I hate dolls, but it's because like Chucky was like Chucky's kind of funny. I don't.
More of a comedic horror. To
I think the later movies got much more comedic, but like I remember watching the first one and I was like, holy
I just
shit.
feel like it
Sesame
wasn't
Street.
ever that consistent, and I just felt like it was. Ooh, I feel like I'm gonna get.
They gonna get you.
It's kind of like corny.
Jennifer Tilly finna get you.
I love Jennifer. Call me. But no, I don't know. It's just like it doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, the Chucky series, that wasn't that bad. I thought that was pretty good, but it wasn't like I watched like the first few episodes of like the second season. I just like it wasn't something I was like eager to see.
No, I get you. That's an interesting. I think Chucky is much more of a pop culture icon. I don't think he's obviously respected in horror, like he's iconic, but like a lot of the movies, like the later movies, I feel like I want to say after, honestly, Child's Play 3, a lot of people's like tap out. Like Chucky's not scary at that point anymore. I think he's much more like comedic with like horror, like undertones. And I think people want scary Chucky back. Arguably, we had scary Chucky in Curse of Chucky, but then right after that, we went more back to like Seed of Chucky kind of humor.
Funny enough, I met an actor who was in Chucky.
That's right.
Yeah.
In the remake,
Shout out to
right?
Gabriel Bateman. It was nice meeting you. You probably do not remember me
That fucking
at
remake
all.
was awful. I'm sorry. That remake was I was not the biggest fan. The concept of it was cute, like with the AI dolls, but like it wasn't. I don't think it was executed well.
Yeah, I mean he did good. He's a good
Yeah,
actor.
he was a like.
I hope nothing but the best for you, sir. I hope you get some bigger roles.
He cried.
Man, yeah,
and, like,
man,
a lot of
man
people
can
can't do
cry on
that.
cue.
Yeah, I was
Man
like,
can
a lot of people can't do
cry.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you? What's your like
as far
underrated?
as, I mean, it's kind of hard to say because I've seen quite a few, and to me, there was like a lot of hype behind them, and then I saw them, and I was just like, I don't know, didn't feel. It didn't satisfy my needs.
So all of them. No, just kidding.
I mean, it's not. It's a few. I can't really name them off the top of my head, but there's been a few where like it was really disappointing.
The Nun. Psh, everyone hyped that up.
True, because the Nun was so scary in The Conjuring too. But the movie, like,
There was one that came out and it was like only in select theaters, and now it's on. I think it's on Max. It's basically about this kid who has a sister that lives within the walls. I forget what it's called. Anyways, the parents tell him that this little girl died up the street or whatever, and he like finds out that it was his sister who was living inside the walls of the house, and they trapped her. Anyways, she comes out
right.
like at first, like it kind of got me like, oh, this is an interesting concept, but then they like killed it towards the end. I was like, okay, yes.
I hate that. I hate when the movie has like a really good plot at first, and then the ending is just like so lackluster. I'm like, what was this? build-up
Barbarian.
for?
Yes, that one.
But
Like,
no, I watched it. No, me, Christian, and Kristen, me and the Chris's, we watched it. That was the most like jarring, weird experience.
All love to Bill Skarsgård. I forgot the main actress's name, but shout outs to them. But Barbarian, when I was watching it in theater, I was like, okay,
No,
cute.
that's a good one. That's when everybody hyped up, and I was like, what are you
I was
talking
like, okay,
about?
this is cute. And then I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but then like the stuff in the middle happened, and I was like, oh, okay. And then we got the subplot, and then we got the ending. The ending was a little messy.
This was
in
my face the whole
opinion.
time. I was like,
It just didn't make any sense. I think if you're gonna have like plot twists or like crazy reveals, it needs to make sense within the story. And I feel like it wasn't really woven in the story well. Which, like, to be fair,
I was confused.
it's understandable because like the marketing never implied the spoiler. Sorry, but like I feel like even then you need to foreshadow it so that way it's like it makes sense. But I think mine
that
is
was a great one to bring up. I choose that one actually.
that one's
I
not
choose
mine,
that one.
but that just reminded me a lot of yours. I think mine is for sure. gotta prepare myself for saying. Mine's Friday the 13th. Besides the first one, all the rest of the movies, you could tell me part 2 was like part 5, and I would believe you.
Oh.
I think a lot of the Friday the 13th movies up until the...
You're talking about like the 1980s.
Yeah, like the older
Yeah,
ones.
okay.
A lot of them are the same. Like, if we're being kind of real here, a lot of them, aside from the first one and like the later Jason like takes Manhattan, Jason X, like a lot of the like part 2 to like part I think 6 or 7. I'm also not really well versed in Friday the 13th, but like they're all kind of the same. Like camp counselors go to a campsite to watch after kids. Jason kills them off one by one. One of them kills Jason. Jason comes back. Like it's all.
repeated.
It's all
It's
the
too
same.
repetitive, especially if you're doing that many movies.
It's all, and it's like all, it never changed. We never changed settings. We're always in like the same summer camp, which I get it. That's Friday the 13th's bag. But even in like Halloween did, with all the different timelines, it did different things.
Haven't
It wasn't
watched
just.
Halloween yet, so
You haven't watched Halloween
No.
yet? Now that's one I gotta show you.
Yes.
That was, cause like when I told you to watch Scream, Scream is very much a.
That was what got me. That's what really got me into horror. Thank
That's
you,
good.
David. Thank you, David.
That's good.
Yeah.
Scream is very much a surface level. Like it's not too crazy, but it's also not super scary.
I just feel like, I feel like it's a good entry into
Yeah.
it. Obviously, as you know, it wasn't my first one. I had to watch all those stupid doll ones. And then I was like, no, horror isn't my thing. But then I watched Scream. I watched all of them because the new one was about to come out, and David's like,
yeah,
we're
you need to.
we're gonna watch it together. We never did, so it's fine. We never ended up watching it
Sorry.
together. It's okay. But I watched the new one, and what can I say? I love it. I love it. I love it.
Because I remember you told me you wanted to see the 6th one, and I was like, that's cool, that's cute, but you have to watch the first 5. And it was very important that I told her, you have to watch the
I
first
did.
5.
Yes.
That's a lot of homework, but like it's a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
think Scream is very much surface level. Like I always recommend that one. I recommend A Nightmare on Elm Street to people for like who really want to like get into horror, but they're like kind of scared of it. Kind of like I recommend just like those two because like they're very much.
They're a little more mild, but they're still good.
They're very mild. They're very mild, but still very good. Like they're not jump scary, but like the concept of it still kind of sticks with you a little bit. So that's what I recommend to people.
What's your ranking of the Scream movies?
Oh, it
Yeah.
changes literally every time I watch them. So the first one's always gonna be the top one. 'Cause, like, it can't
Yes.
really move.
Yes, I agree.
Right now, I'd say. Oh, God, I'm fucking get in trouble. 1, 4, 6, 5, 3, 2. I love Scream 2, but that movie's too damn long.
No, yeah, my ranking, I said mine would be the same.
That movie's too
Honestly.
damn long. The third one is objectively the worst in the franchise,
Yes.
but it's also the funniest and the most campiest. So that's why I kind of excuse it a little
I've
bit.
never seen any of the Scream.
Oh, okay.
You've
We're just
never
going on
seen-
our tangent here.
Yeah,
But I have
No.
questions.
I gotta show
questions.
you. We gotta clean out the
Yeah, yeah,
Scream.
yeah, yeah.
I like
Yeah.
literally Scream is. It's literally, arguably one of the most important horror movies that we have in the genre because the 90s. To go into a little horror teaching here for a second. The 90s horror was dying. Like we got a few good ones like Candyman that came out in the 90s. That was like a really good one. Like and the horror genre as a whole was dying because like we had movies like Friday the 13th. I think like Jason. Ooh, I'm gonna say Jason X had just came out, and like no, Jason Goes to Hell. It was Jason Goes to Hell, and that was like kind of like a comedy at that point. Like Freddy Krueger became like a comedy, like kind of like what happened with Chucky. He was scary at first, but then he became much more funnier. And then the Halloween franchise was dying. Leatherface wasn't doing nothing. So then Scream was this brand new concept. It was a brand new horror movie. It had fresh faces, and it did much more. It was much more grounded in reality, which I think I really, truly love about Scream is that it's like it could literally happen in real life because they talk about things that happen in real life. And if we didn't have Scream in the 90s, like the horror genre would not be possibly what it is today, at least for the 90s for sure. Because like once Scream came out, it got people scared of horror movies again. It got people wanting to go back to the theaters and watching horror movies again. That's why we got like Bride of Chucky is very Scream inspired. I Know What You Did Last Summer is like damn near a carbon copy of Scream, but just add like a little twists and tricks to it. Urban Legend. I'm pretty sure there are more like Wes's New Nightmare. Like there are so many horror movies that came out afterwards that saved the horror genre. Like Scream literally rewrote the horror genre and saved it. So that's
Dang.
why
Dang. Yeah,
I'd say
okay.
it's one of the most important ones.
Number one fan right here.
I do my homework. I do my homework. I just like. I actually got one of my big first like injuries from watching Scream.
What? Wait.
that happen?
Yeah.
So I want to say 6 or 7. I was watching in the living room. My mom was doing like a spring cleaning, so like all of her stuff was in the kitchen. I don't know. All of our stuff was in the kitchen. Like my room was empty, her room was empty. All of our stuff was in the kitchen. We were doing a big spring cleaning, and so I'm in the living room. You know, first scene's on. He's like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And I was like, I found like a little, I don't know what kind of knife it's called. It's like not a steak knife, but it's like a smaller kind of thin blade and has like very
Christian?
rigid edges. Christian.
Chef, what's the knife called?
Of what is it?
It's like a steak knife. It's like a much more skinnier one. It has like really sharper edges on the side.
It's just a serrated blade.
Sure, serrated blade. We had that. I think we used that. That was like our screwdriver in the household because we couldn't really afford one. So I remember I like grabbed the knife and I was running around and I was pretending to be Ghostface. And the knife, the blade, it caught my hand. Like it got like caught in my hand. And I was a kid. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to like just. So I like just pulled it, like I sliced it down. Like it didn't leave any. My hands are still fine. Like it didn't leave any wounding or anything like that. I didn't have to go to the hospital. My hands were like not bleeding or anything. Like it was just like it kind of like just cut like barely cut the top of my skin. And I was like, ow, that hurt. And then my mom was like, what the hell happened? And I was like. I cut my hand like on like, you know like how carpet underneath carpet is like kind of a little sharp. I fell and I cut my hand on the carpet. And she was like, "Don't do that again." And then like a few weeks later, I'm like, "Mom, I lied. I sliced my hand open with a knife." She doesn't know that it was from Scream. Mom, sorry, but it was from Scream.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was one of my first big times of like, oh, don't play with knives. It kind of bonded. I think that's what bonded me to the Scream franchise.
For me, with blades, it was the potato peeler, but yeah.
Potato players still get me.
Yeah.
Even at my grown age now, they still get me.
Yeah.
Like I'll still cut my hand every now and then. That's why I don't like knives. I don't like working with knives.
Cheese graters get me.
That too. That
Yes,
too.
Yes.
Especially when you're going to our needs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh,
Go ahead.
no.
Okay, I was just gonna ask. So, do you prefer like American-based horror movies, or do you
Like Korean horror films and stuff like that?
Overseas horror movies.
I honestly, I love it all. I love like European and like Korean horror films just because they're not afraid to break the edge. Like recently, I just rewatched Speak No Evil. The remake just came out. Like there's an American remake that came out, but a lot of people don't know is that the movie came out like early. I want to say early COVID times, like maybe 2019, 2020, around that time. And it was a European horror film, and that movie is so dark. It's much darker than the remake. I'm not going to spoil any of it because like the movie just came out and I'm not going to do that to the viewers. But the first one is so dark because European horror movies are not afraid to like kind of push that barrier because like I think the thing that kind of bugs me with like Western or like American horror films is that we don't really want to break, like we don't really want to go too far. But I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes we need to go too far.
Yeah.
That's why I really like the Terrifier movies. Do they have no plot? Absolutely. Are the kills gory as hell? Absolutely.
I've only
And
seen the first one, and I've been trying to watch the second one.
the second
Yeah, I've only seen
one,
the first
I saw the
one.
second one in theaters. The second one, it was making people throw up. People was leaving the theater. Like people were getting genuinely scared, and I was chilling. Gore doesn't really affect me that much. I'm really desensitized to horror, but like the first Terrifier, like we all remember where we were when we watched it. Like, and like how crazy it was. But like even like for casual audiences, that was probably like the scariest movie that people have ever seen. But like for me, that was like probably what like a European film would have been. So I very much like obviously American horror films are what I have access to. So like I have to watch those. But like if like Ringu or like The Grudge or something like that comes on, or even like you can even go like a little while there. I would prefer to watch those because also they use like practical effects. Like a lot of them don't really use
Yes, I
CGI.
love that.
That's another thing I think you need to have in a horror movie: practical effects. I don't think you can do a lot of good horror movies depending on like what the concept is. I feel like most of it needs to be practical because that's what makes it more. That's why I can appreciate like 80s horror movies because a lot of them, granted, a lot of the prosthetics look very wacky, but like it looks much more like real. Like it holds up to this day. Like I think I watched Beetlejuice for the first time, mind you, like a couple days ago.
Really?
I had never
Oh
seen
my
Beetlejuice
goodness.
before, and like I think the prosthetics like still hold up. Like it still looks goofy, but like it still looks.
Honestly, I think that first one was a lot better than the second one.
I haven't seen the
I haven't seen the second one yet either.
That's just my.
I need to lock
Sorry.
it. I think because I was like I want to watch the second one, but I hadn't seen the first one, which is shocking because horror girl, I haven't seen the first one, but I watched it and like the prosthetics and stuff like they still hold up. So, but yeah, no, I like European, I like Korean, I like all. Horror has no. I'm here for it all.
Okay, what's the most memorable kill for you, like in any franchise or movie?
I'm going back to Terrifier. If you guys know, if you know that one scene in Terrifier, that's another thing that you can make it like iconic. Is like you can just say, "Oh, that one scene from that one horror movie." People automatically know. Like,
Is it the chainsaw?
and the
Yeah.
her literally down the middle like that. That was just crazy because I'm like, no, they're gonna cut away from it. And they show the whole thing.
So when I first saw it, it kind of made me laugh because like
I was like, no way.
I could tell like it was a dummy or a doll, whatever you want to call it, and. I mean, I get the idea of it, and I was just like, okay, that's interesting. But then it's just the way it just started going down. I was like, no way.
No way. No, and then you see like all the like blood
Yeah.
and guts. I'm like, oh my god. It's like that's a very memorable one.
It is.
Obviously, like Casey Becker's death was very memorable. I'm not gonna spoil Nope, but there's a death in Nope that's very like it makes the movie, in my opinion, honestly. What's another one? Ooh.
What do you think about that Winnie the Pooh horror movie?
I have not seen it. I have not seen it.
The only reason we got it is because like the IP for like Winnie the Pooh and like a lot of Disney
They're making a
characters.
second one.
They're making a second one.
Yeah.
I've seen it and it's like it's a C plus horror movie at best. But like it's one of those movies where it's like you kind of just like watch like on Halloween or like a Friday night. It's like ooh, it's gonna be scary. Then you're
You know what
watching
was
it.
scarier was the Winnie the Pooh Halloween episode with Frankenstein. That used to scare me
That
as a kid.
part, or that one episode of SpongeBob with the butterfly, and they show the close up of the butterfly's face, and it like that's scary.
That's real horror, guys. Okay, I have another question.
Should be.
Say you're an actor. How would you want your death to be? Like, what would you want your kill to be? How would you want to go?
Really, really, can I cuss?
Of course.
Really fucking gory. Really fucking gory. Like, I'm talking, it needs to be so absurd, but like, it's like so absurd to the point where it's like kind of hilarious, but it's also like kind of scary as fuck too. But also, I wouldn't mind just like, my like goal in life, if I ever pursue being a director, actor, however it may be, if it's ever in my future for me, I would kill to be killed by Ghostface or Chucky. I would love to be killed by Chucky because like I think that'd be so.
I'd love to
It's funny.
be Ghostface or get killed
That
by
too,
Ghostface.
because there has not been a person of color behind the Ghostface mask ever, which is saying something. White people.
Yeah.
But like, I would love to be the first like black Ghostface killer. I think that'd be very fun.
Well, now that you say it, I'm pretty sure they're gonna give somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, hey, have it here written in stone. It should have been me.
Yeah.
But I would want my death to be like outrageous to the point where it's like you're kind of in disbelief that it's like happening, but like it's also still scary that it's happening.
Okay.
A lot of blood. A lot of
A
blood.
lot
would
of
need to be
blood.
involved.
A lot of blood.
I would want like a. Like specifically, I don't know why this came to mind, but like American Horror Story Hotel, the one.
Oh, when it used to be good.
When it
Sorry.
used to
Okay,
Get
so
him.
up to what season?
Get him again.
Up to what season did it stop being good? Because I've been. It's one of the things that's on my list to watch, and I have not.
I
Watched.
guess like after Apocalypse, maybe.
I loved I think it was 1987. I love 1987.
1984?
That was. It was 1984.
I think it's 1984.
One of the two. That was the last one I really enjoyed.
I
I really
like that
enjoyed
one.
Apocalypse. Cult was not my favorite because it was very much a like political season, but like
I skipped most of it.
I skipped a lot of it.
I didn't watch a lot of Apocalypse either because I hate like. This is so stupid to say. Like I hate what?
Like end of the world. Like,
Yeah. What's
end
the
of the
word?
world.
There's a word for it, but I hate it. Like any like tsunamis. That's scary to me. Tsunamis.
You know those
shark
pictures where it's like
attacks,
people see like they have a tsunami picture and it's like, what are you doing in this situation? I'm like lying
what can I
down.
do?
Like what
Like, I can't do
the what the fuck
anything.
am I gonna do? Just lying down, accepting fate, I guess. Like,
earthquakes. I don't like zombie movies either.
have you seen Last of Us?
Last of Us is pretty good.
Last of Us is very good.
I I will literally have like an anxiety attack.
I think the
I
zombies
can't.
in like The Last of Us.
No.
That's why I'll
No,
peace
because
out.
I feel like it's too much of a possibility, and I'm like I
Or
can't.
like Resident Evil, like oh my god, what's his name? Oh my god, like Nemesis. Bitch, if Nemesis came up to me, hell no. So Nemesis is like 7'2", like oozing out of literally every crevice of his body, strong as fuck, evil as fuck, like has no eye, like he's fucking scary. I love the
David,
Resident
you're
Evil
also into
games.
video games.
I do. I am. I'm a gamer.
Do you have any favorite horror games that you're playing currently?
I recently because when I was a kid, I used to play a lot of Resident Evil, like the first four. I used to play a lot of Resident Evil. I want to say Leon Kennedy was like one of my gay awakenings. 'Cause, like, look at the man, hello.
Yes.
Or
yes.
Carlos from. Shit, what was it? I think it's Resident Evil 6. I think it's 6 or 5. Sometimes I forget him. No. He was in 3. I think it might have been 5 or 6. Carlos, the very fine cop that shows up and like Loki saves the day. He's another one of my gay awakenings, but for sure, I love Resident Evil. Dead by Daylight's another really good one. I haven't played Dead by Daylight in a long time though. I used to be the Juke Queen.
I just started.
I was gonna say I used to be the Juke Queen.
You
in
need
Dead
to
by
teach me how to
Daylight.
play. I need to get better at like video games because I just don't play them really. So.
I mean, I mostly play like a lot of shooter games. I will not touch Call of Duties because fuck all that. But like, I like unfortunately I play Fortnite. I don't want to talk about it. But there's an Alien from the franchise. There's an Alien game. Holy shit! I've never screamed like louder in my life because like the AI alien they use picks up like on your mic audio and like if you speak too loud, like that's how it can find you.
Oh,
You're trying to like
okay, what
escape.
the heck?
Interesting. Okay.
Oh my god, I love the Alien franchise so much.
I need
Alien
to watch
Romulus
it
is
so
so good.
bad. I need to watch it.
I loved Alien Romulus. It was so good because it was like the first two Alien. Really hot take, not really, because a lot of people would agree with me. Only the first two Alien movies and arguably Prometheus are the only good Alien movies in the franchise. And even
Prometheus
Alien
was really
Romulus.
long.
What happened?
Prometheus was really.
Prometheus was hella long, but like had such a good plot and like it was very interesting to me. I liked
I
Prometheus.
remember the day I went to go see the movie theater. I was high off my ass and I fell asleep. And I was with some friends who were like, did you like the movie? I was like, yeah.
it's good. It's good.
But I think the first two Alien movies are like, those are like iconic movies. Like those are movies. Huh? those were like movies like in history that like you can't. That's like arguably like some of the best horror like movies in horror. It's like the first two Alien movies, even the first one too.
Okay.
No, there's another set of movies I haven't seen.
Really?
I need-
And you know what's crazy is like we came across the collection of Aliens like on DVD, and it's like the whole set. And I was like, oh my god.
Give it to me now. Give it to me now.
But I mean, I think the whole the whole series is on Disney Plus now too.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen.
But I think it's nice having like physical copies. Like I'd like to collect
Yeah.
like.
God, I was just talking about this
VHSs.
with Christian. My dream when I was a kid, because again, watch a lot of Scream, watch a lot of horror movies, watch a lot of movies. My dream was to work at a Blockbuster. Like I wanted to work at a video
Yes,
store. This
yes,
is the one
yes.
downside I hate about having streaming services. That we don't have video stores anymore. Like I would.
I had one when I was first adopted. There was one right down the street. You know where the gas station is, the one
Yeah,
right
yeah.
down there, right across it where the Pilates place is. That used to be one, and I was like,
Because I went to a few Blockbusters when I was like very young. I only remember seeing like
that was a time.
like Star Trek cut out. I think Star Trek had came out at the time when they closed down. There was like a I don't remember his name. It's the one with the black hair. Like
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
That's too much for me. I can't do that. But like I remember when the Blockbusters closed down, and I'm like, oh, like you're gonna have more video stores. Like when I get older, like it'll be fine.
No.
Nope. Thanks
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah.
Thanks Disney Plus. Thanks
What's
Hulu.
crazy is I was at Netflix like offered to team up with Blockbuster and they said no. And then they just said, fuck you.
God.
I mean, I understand why, but still.
God, like it makes me genuinely so upset because like I watch shows from like Dawson's Creek like in the like early '90s, like late '90s, and like seeing like Pacey work at the music like the video store. I'm like that could have been me. I could have been the guy that everybody went to being like where's E.T. I'm like aisle 13. But no.
Yeah, I miss
no, we're streaming now.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, I have like such fond memories of it. So I don't know.
I miss the smell and like.
The smell.
I miss the smell. I miss getting the like late notices. I remember there was, I took I have a Lilo and Stitch DVD somewhere in storage. It's like from the first one. It still has the Blockbuster tag on it, and I remember I got a notice and then like you need to return the video, and then it closed. So like I never.
What can you do now?
Well, no, like I never
Gotcha.
returned it. I still have it. I'm like, well, like you can't bill me for it. So,
Yeah.
but apparently there's like a few that like have opened up in certain states. That,
Oh.
like,
I think there's one that's like the main Blockbuster store, the original or something. I don't know.
God, I need to
But,
go.
yeah.
I need to go just to say that I've been. I need to go.
Yeah, I remember those days, man. Those are. As a kid, my cousins would be like, "Let's go rent a movie," and I'm like, "Okay, let's go."
Like I want to just like have a movie night when you're like, oh, like I want to go watch so and so. It's like, okay, let's go rent it. Like, but now it's like, oh, we can like rent it on the TV, and I feel like it just takes the joy out of.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's just something about having like a physical.
I'm very much a physical. Every time I go to like a Goodwill or something like that, I always look in the DVD section just to take whatever, because like we don't know what's gonna happen with streaming services. Like the internet could just like literally fall off the
down.
face of the earth one day, and then we're gonna have no TV.
Yeah.
I have like a stack of Jordan's seen. I
Yeah,
have a
I've seen
stack
them.
of horror movies. Oh my god, because like Black Friday sales happen all the time. I buy
Yeah.
like
Oh,
things
yeah.
in 4K again. Like I bought The Thing the other day in 4K. Watched that. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
I'm
the
a big-
original thing or the newer?
Depends which original we talking about. The one like from the 50s. We're talking about the John Carpenter one from the 70s.
John Carpenter.
Oh yeah, that one. That one arguably is probably one of the best remakes in horror ever. So good
We were
that people
talking about
forget that there was
earlier,
another
like
one.
what remake was better than the original or comparable to it?
The Thing is another one where it's like people. I don't even think people would even know that there was another movie prior to John Carpenter's Thing. That's just how good it was. That like that one I think kind of low key kind of takes over as the Thing movie, even though that's technically a reboot. That's one. That's a requel, so I don't think that one counts. But Thing's a really good one. I mean, Jason doesn't have a good one. Freddy doesn't have a good one. No shade, but a lot of it's because they have CGI in them. That's what.
Yeah.
That's the time in horror that I hate the most. Was like the 2000, like 10, 6 through 10, 11, 12s, because it was all just shitty CGI. Like they took the fun out of the horror. Even Scream 4, one of my favorite ones, has like shitty eye Ghostface stabbing. So it's like what are we doing? Like this is really what we're supposed to do. Like horror is very much a community, like creative and like a very opening community of like you need to like you need that creativity, otherwise it's like you're letting a computer take your art form, essentially. That's low-key CGI is like my own little tangent, I think, but like I digress. But honestly, The Thing is what comes to mind right now, because it's like that one's so good and it still holds up. Like it's still it came out like in the 70s too. Like that's still a horror movie that like late 70s, early 80s, and it still holds up.
Do you have any favorite directors like who do horror
Horror
specifically?
directors? Wes Craven for sure. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. He's an icon. Jordan Peele is a really up and coming one that I really have like a lot of respect towards, just because like he's not recycling a lot of like older projects. He's kind of making new things, like showing homage to like the older ones. John Carpenter, even though he hasn't really made much from now, but I don't know. A lot of my favorite horror directors are like older guys. I don't think I have like a lot of. Oh my god. What was the guy he directed Saw? He did Malignant,
Oh,
Aquaman,
Yeah,
James Wan. James Wan. He did Conjuring. James Wan's a really good one. You see his name next to something, you know it's gonna be good. Mike Flanagan, he's another really good one too. I really like Flanagan. Oh, I love The Haunting of Hill House. This movie's so good. He's gonna finish off Universal's failed Exorcist trilogy, and I'm so excited for it. It's
Oh.
actually gonna be good.
okay.
No shade, but also all shade. Universal,
Yeah.
what were you doing with that movie? Like, what were you doing? Oh, I think, you know what? I think that's another underrated one that I have. Or, not underrated, overrated one I have is The Exorcist.
I agree.
Which one? The very first one?
The very first one, like the original one.
Oh,
Just
okay.
because, I don't know, I guess because when people were like, oh my god, it's the scariest movie ever. But it's like, when I watched it, I was kind of like low-key bored. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of from what I've seen, like the spider crawling wasn't actually in the movie, like her crawling on the stairs. That was a deleted scene. I thought it was actually in the movie when I'd like seen clips of it and stuff. Yeah, no, it's not in the original one. It's like a deleted scene.
I didn't even know that deleted scene.
Unless like you watch like the director's cut or like an unrated one, then it'd probably be in there. But like straight to like it's like streaming services, they don't have those ones. I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, am I watching the right movie? Like,
Yeah, like,
is this the right movie? And then like, it's iconic, obviously, but it's like also like kind of boring. So.
yeah.
Well, I mean, to me, that one's like about the only movie that really scares the shit out of me.
The Exorcist?
Well,
Exorcist, yeah.
well.
No, it's just something about that movie. Is just
I mean, a lot of people are with you on it though, so.
Do you guys have like a horror movie that you didn't like when you first watched it, and then when you rewatched it again, you kind of like you're like, okay, you know what? I understand the appeal.
No. No. Because I didn't watch like a lot of horror.
Mm-hmm.
I am still. I'm very much like
baby.
a what?
A baby, like a horror baby.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like a rom-com kind of girl.
Oh, my bad.
I know, ew. But now I'm like becoming a bigger horror fan. But I'm still I'm still like kind of newish into horror. Like I've seen like bits of it like as I've grown up, but
I
it
gotta
wasn't
educate
like
you.
anything that really like. I don't know. I didn't really grab my attention. Like I said, like Annabelle and Chucky. I was just
Right.
like Annabelle. I was like, I hate dolls. I never want to see any of that again. Like it did scare me. Yes, did its job. But Chucky, I was like, okay, like whatever.
gotta show
I'm
you,
like,
like,
I'm
I
like,
gotta
is this
show you shit
what
from, like, the
horror
80s.
is? You know, it wasn't like a good introduction. Into it. I don't know what else I've seen. I guess if you counted Beetlejuice as one, then Beetlejuice. Yeah, I didn't really see a lot until I became friends with David. So yeah, still getting into it, but I really like it now because David does have good taste in movies. So
Yes.
well,
Like,
yes,
This is very true. No.
yeah, because David doesn't like. I don't know.
I don't like normal movies.
That's what I was
Normal
saying.
movies, quote,
'Cause I
unquote.
think we have like a similar taste in cinema.
Well, I
so.
mean, because like I don't have like all my favorite movies are almost all horror. I don't have a movie where it's like it's critically acclaimed. It's won Oscars. Like arguably the only movie that I love that's won an Oscar is probably Get Out. But even then, it's like maybe outside of horror, my only other favorite movie is like Pulp Fiction. That's like a very basic. Sorry to the viewers out there. It's a good movie, but it's a very basic answer to have. I feel like that's every cinephile. Like, oh, like I've watched
No, I
movies
swear,
over the
every like
quarantine
film
and,
buff
like,
is like.
I'm obsessed with the Quentin Tarantino, and I love Pulp Fiction.
Is it
Fight
bad
Club.
to say that like I don't know, Quentin Tarantino's like I mean, I love him. Yeah.
He's a very brilliant director. I'll give him that. I do like a lot of his projects.
Yeah.
But him as a person is a little suspect. 'Cause
Yeah.
the man's a
Yeah, I don't want to get too controversial, guys. Actually, never mind. Let's cut that.
Cut that out.
Yeah, cut that out.
But I mean, like I respect his craft. I respect a lot of.
I mean,
directors' crafts.
I liked a lot of the stuff that he's done, and my parents used to show me them all the time. So it's kind of like almost nostalgic to some.
'Cause my mom used to watch the hell out of Kill Bill. So like
Yes.
now I
love
know Kill Bill like in the back of my hand.
Yeah, that was like one of the. I think the first one.
I think that's the thing. Forgive me for saying, but I think that's one of the things I miss about quarantine. Obviously, awful things were happening in the world, and obviously, it was like a bad time for all of us. But like, all I did all day was watch movies. So like, I get to watch movies that like I had never seen before, and like actually get to like experience and like be like, okay, this is what the hype is about, or be like, okay, this isn't what like I was expecting, but like I'm kind of loving it. Like I didn't see Kill Bill until, again, like granted my mom and stuff had watched it, but I hadn't seen both movies back to back until quarantine. I didn't even know part 2 existed.
No, I loved Kill Bill.
You know, I didn't know part 2 existed. I only thought it was just the first one.
Love
I'm like,
Uma
oh damn, I
Thurman.
guess she didn't kill Bill. So,
So.
I guess she didn't get the job done. But like, I hadn't seen Pulp Fiction up until then, and then like when I saw it during quarantine, I kind of just fell in love with it. But I think that was because it was becoming so popular. I don't know if popular is the right word to use. Popular.
Well, I think it is. Well, I feel like I was saying, I feel like anyone who's like, well, maybe not, let's not generalize, but I feel like a lot of people who are like film buffs and stuff like that, Pulp Fiction and Fight Club is always on the list, and I
Or like
hate
Joker.
to say it. I hate
All
to
love. Joker is very good, but like, come on now, we need to.
yeah, those are not my kind of people. I don't think take like suggestions from them. I'm like, okay.
They're almost always misogynistic or racist or homophobic.
Clock
or
it.
all three. Or all three. But that's why I don't like saying Pulp Fiction is one of my favorites, because unfortunately it is a good movie, but it also has a lot of bad rep behind it. That's a good
Yeah.
question. Do you guys have a movie that has a lot of bad rep outside the community, but it's like a very good movie in general?
I don't think I've run into that problem.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I think,
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, or at least I've never thought too much into it, you know.
yeah, I feel like I don't really like getting too like deep into fan bases and stuff because like it's kind of crazy.
A lot of them are.
crazy.
Like, if we can really be real here, a lot of them are. Which is what I think I love most about horror, is that we're all a very accepting and open community. Like, granted, the requels are killing the horror genre now, arguably, but like, for the most part, we're all very chill. We're all really open, and it's like horror doesn't have like a label, if that makes sense. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a look to horror. Like, I think if you would have seen me on the street, I don't think you would have known that I'm a horror buff, because like there's a
You with your Billy Loomis shirt.
me with the Billy Loomis shirt and a Billy Loomis tattoo, mind you. God, what that means. Shout out to Skeet Ulrich.
That's your man.
Shout out to Skeet Ulrich, man.
yeah.
But I don't think like if you
Get him on the pod.
streets, I think just like based on how I dress and how I guess I present myself, I don't think people would assume like, oh, like he really likes horror movies. I think I look like more of like an indie moviegoer, but no.
Yeah.
I'm a horror.
That's
person
true. I
down.
feel like there's just like not a certain look to it, really.
Yeah, no, I
so.
think, and it's also just like the community's chill. Like you got
I've not met someone who's really like into horror that was like what's the
Evil.
word? Evil, annoying.
the thing. Unfortunately, because I want to be in like the true crime world. Like I want to be a forensics when I'm older. So it's like
Shit.
I watch a lot of true crime stories, and unfortunately, almost like if it's a murder that happens like in a high school, or like if
You had murders in Redlands.
I've lived next to terrorists. Fun fact. We'll get to it in a second, but I feel like there was a horror case. I don't even want to say the names of them because I don't want to give them that clout. But I think it was the case of this girl. I think her name was Cassie. They called them the Scream Killers because they had the idea they'd watched a bunch of horror movies. Like the kid had grown up watching horror movies, and it gave him the bright idea to like execute it, which like, you know, is a fucking shitty thing within itself, because not only does the movie get bad rep, but also like the people get bad rep behind it, but it's also like that like a young girl's like life got lost because like some idiot decided to like try it out. And I think it kind of gives it a bad rep because as a kid I loved horror, like all horror movies. Again, like Chucky was one of my bread and butter growing up with Scream, and like people would always tell like my parents like, oh, like lock your doors, like hide the knives, because like you never know what like he's gonna, like he might just snap one day. When it's like that's not really what it was. And granted, shout out to my mom, she did think that like she didn't think something was wrong with me, but she was just like, she thought like she was a little, I guess, like kind of monitoring how much I would watch, because like she didn't want to get that impression in my head. But when she sees me like this talking so passionately about just the community and the genre and like the love and respect that I have for it, it puts her at ease. It puts her mind at ease. And she's like, okay, maybe he won't be a serial killer when he grows up. So that's unfortunately one stigma that we have to still keep fighting for. But I mean, I think for the most part, it's getting better.
Yeah. How do you feel? I guess like based on like true crime and stuff. How do you feel about certain movies based on like real life?
If it's done tastefully and caters towards the victims, then I think it's perfectly fine. But if it's a show, I'm not going to name names, but we can all think about which one I'm thinking about. If it's very much loving and showing more love to the killers, who are like real people, and like kind of
like romanticizing.
Yeah,
it.
romanticizing their lives and showing more lives to them about them versus the victim, then I feel like it's not very, like, it's not right.
Yeah, I
but
feel
also,
like
if you're not catering, if you're not asking the family either, and like not respecting the family's wishes of like, we don't want this shared at all, then like
yeah,
that's
That makes sense.
I
That's
agree.
not my
I also feel like it's one of the only times you shouldn't be like adding that like Hollywood glamour to it. I'm like, no, because
Like, the one that I can think of, even then, she just said that it wasn't super accurate to her life. But I thought the act, like Gypsy Rose's story, I thought that was a very accurate-ish, not super accurate. They had to like add some stuff in for drama. But like when you look at the case for Gypsy Rose and stuff, it's like for when you watch the show, it's like okay, they got like 80% of it like to a T mostly, and it was done. I don't want to say tasteful, but like it wasn't super like gory. Like they didn't show like the mom being like unalived, so it was like I say tasteful loosely, but like not really like tasteful. But that's the only one I can think of that's like not really hurtful to anybody. But Gypsy Rose just came out and said that it was not accurate to her life, and she does never watch it. So I don't think ethically you can really make one that's like that can appeal to everybody.
do you think they should be though?
No, I mean, cause like we have eyes and like podcasts exist. We can like read up on the case. I don't think we need to see it on screen. Like I don't think we need to.
Yeah, I agree.
Be there for the murder. I feel like that's very wrong. Like I feel like that's why we have horror movies is to like show like, but it's like not real. But it's like to show like what it would be like. But I don't think we need rehashings or retellings of like getting popular actors playing the roles. It's just, get him again. I think it's very. I don't think it's very ethical.
Yeah.
That even goes for some like podcasters out there, like true crime. Because like think about it, I haven't listened to a true crime podcast since like 2021, because like it'd just be like, she was murdered, her body was found lying in a ditch. Speaking of ditches, you know, therapy is really important, guys.
Yeah.
Like we use BetterHelp. Don't fucking use BetterHelp with therapy people. I'm sorry, but like, here's a promo code to BetterHelp, 15% off, and then just jump right back into the story. It's like okay,
whoa.
let's be more sensitive. There was one I was listening to a Jeffrey Dahmer one, and they were talking about how he ate somebody, and then they plugged in a HelloFresh ad right after, and I was like, Jesus Christ, oh my God.
You know who I really like is Miss Mango Butt. I don't know if you guys know her, Stephanie Sue.
I do like her. Stephanie Sue.
I love her. I used to watch Bailey Sarian. Yeah.
I used to love Bailey Sarian, and I don't think because I first started watching her when she first started coming up with like the murder mystery makeup Monday. But I mean, like when I really sat down with it, I'm like, if I was murdered right now, and like a person was just doing their makeup and like telling my story, I don't know how comfortable I would be with it. Granted, she does talk about the victims a lot, which is I feel like better, but also. It's just a little.
We have to think about our generation. We're not very engaged.
I mean, but to be fair, I didn't see nothing wrong with them when they first started coming out, and then the more and more I sat with it, I was like, oh, maybe it's not the most, not the most like ethical thing out there, but it's entertaining, which is unfortunate to say, but like it's like I don't even really pay attention to the makeup.
We're just naturally curious.
I mean, I never paid attention to the makeup. I just loved the way she would narrate.
Yeah,
the
I
stories.
wouldn't like watch what she was doing. It was more like I'm gonna watch the dishes and listen to this kind of thing. So it was more like a podcast for me. So
Jordan, what's your dream like horror role that you would want to be in?
Ooh, yeah.
I feel like this changes all the time. I feel like I'd like to be the killer. But I feel like I'm too short to be like a killer. I feel like it wouldn't like be realistic.
Well, I mean, they have stunt doubles. Like if you think about Scream, like
what's her name? Mikey Madison.
She's like
the same height as me. She's the same height as me. Yeah.
But like all her scenes, she's wearing platform boots and she's like 6'2".
Yeah, I'm like okay. Shape shifting. Yeah, I think I'd like to be a killer or something, but if I was gonna be if I wasn't gonna be a killer, I don't want to be a final girl. I want to be there. I want to.
You want to be the one that caused the trauma.
Yeah, I want to be there for a few movies, guys. I want my own franchise because I'm greedy like that.
It's
Yeah.
gonna happen one day.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
I want it to be like super psychological though.
Okay, I guess you. You
I
want
want
like
to
a
be
slasher
really
one.
tormented, and
Oh,
I
okay.
want to get like, I want the the events that happen to me to make me like become slowly more and more deranged, and then I become the killer too.
Oh, that's an idea. That's an idea for a movie. Mm-hmm. Is there like a project you would want to be a part of or like direct that like would get you like if it like somebody came to you with it, you'd like done deal like I'll work on it.
Dang. A24.
A24 Neon, if y'all watching.
Any of them?
I don't know. Me, I have some ideas that I want to write out and film.
Can't say it on the pod. Don't want no one stealing them.
Exactly. But my thing is I want to hit nerves.
Okay.
Like I want to get people to really think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Listen, if you ever need anybody on a project, I mean, listen. I have a very good screen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it here for
Or
the
if you even need
audiences.
like a director, like
Oh,
anything.
yeah. So I've wanted. When I was a kid, I feel like when you're a kid, you always think about, you always want to be an actor or like a director or something. I remember I wanted to be a director when I was a kid, and if I wasn't so committed to being like in forensics, I would for sure be an actor. I would like for sure I'd pursue that because I would love to. Are you kidding me? That's like
Yeah.
that's literally that's every as you would know. As you would
Yeah.
know. That's like
I
when
mean,
you're
I
a
already
kid.
dissociate on the daily and pretend I'm someone else. So like getting paid to do it.
Like, come
heck
on now,
yeah.
and like getting paid like millions, thousands.
If you're good enough.
millions, like
Yeah.
that's just really. But I feel like as a director, I feel like you have a lot more stakes on you because it's like you could have one really good movie and people will be like, oh my god, like I can't see what he comes up with
Yeah.
next, and then it's like,
the next one just bombs.
and then next just bomb, and it's like, I'm not gonna name names, but like there's one director, really good, really bad, oh kind of good, bad, like I think if you're a good director, you can work with what you have and like kind of make it work and like take like own up to the fact that you messed up your movie. Don't blame your actors. You're the one that
Yeah,
you're the one
it's a bad script.
you're the one that like you didn't write the script obviously,
It's
but
like
you're the one.
It's like Halle Berry
directing.
with Catwoman. It was like it was just a bad script.
It was
She's
just
not
a bad
actor,
script, but
'cause
she's
she
not a
got
bad
She got that
actress.
Oscar. She got the Oscar for Best Actress. And then she
Like-
won a Razzie for Worst Actress in Catwoman.
Like and like her speech was so funny because she was so serious about it too.
I
Yeah, no.
love her.
That's good.
My gay awakening. Yeah, but
Shouts out to her.
hey. Yeah,
outs to
you can
her.
be actor, director, whatever.
I
We got the
mean,
community here.
I've thought about it every now and then.
That'd be
I kinda
good. I
sit
feel
down with
like
it.
you and Alberto could come up with something really original.
I have so many ideas for so many horror movies. Oh my god, the amount of things that I just thought of over the years of watching different horror movies, all the like ideas that I kind of grab. I have like 6 scripts in mind. That's what I used to do back in like quarantine. I used to just write horror scripts all the time. 'Cause I was so
Send 'em over.
bored out of my
Yeah, send 'em
mind. I was so bored out of my mind. I wrote like 5 Scream movies. Like I could give them a trilogy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, David's the man. Yeah, yeah, we're ready.
right.
Scream 7, I'm kind of scared for. I'm not gonna even say anything. Like,
Here's
am I
what I'm
gonna watch it
say.
in theaters?
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Am I gonna watch it?
I think from what I've heard, what they want to do with the 7th movie,
I wonder how much they gave Nev Campbell.
the reason why Scream 6 felt a little icky was because of what happened with Nev Campbell. For our audiences that don't know out there, a company did not want to pay Nev Campbell what she was worth, even though arguably she's been carrying the franchise on her back
Yeah.
since 1996. So Scream 6 felt a little icky, but I still watched that in theaters. But with a situation like this, having 2 of your main stars, mind you, not even like supporting or like background,
They
main
all dropped
stars,
out. Yeah.
like dropping from this movie, firing one of them and having the other one drop from your movie is just a little insane to me, and it just shows like how much.
It's not gonna. I'm sorry, it's not gonna be good.
I don't.
Because
No.
their story still has to be told. Like, what do you mean we're going to like? We're just.
And like allegedly,
feels
the
like
rumor
Whiplash.
is they want to make the 7th movie. They want to do a time jump, so they can age Sydney's kids up, and they can be like the next. But it's like Scream is rooted in reality, but it's also rooted in like now. Like the sixth movie came out the year that it was made. Like when Scream 1 came out in like 1996, it was talking about movies in the horror genre at the time in the 90s. How are you going to have a script set like 5-6 years in the future? You can't predict.
I didn't even think about
when you
that.
can't when you can't predict.
It was literally in
2023.
Yeah, so it's like
You can't even predict the horror genre in a couple of years. So it's like it's just
like the sixth movie. Like clearly there was meant to be something else. Like they had an idea in
like,
mind,
we need
and
to
it
know
just
about,
doesn't make sense at
we
all.
need to know about their mom because obviously their mom has something to do with like
Deadbeat.
we need to, obviously her mom had something to do with the events that happened in the first couple Scream movies. That's my theory. Is that
Like, how are you even gonna go back from that? Like, even if
Allegedly, they wanna do
people know the
spin-offs.
circumstances, if it changed and it got better, like, how would you even? I just feel like it makes no sense.
They don't want to sell the rights. Scream 6 was one of the biggest box openings that the franchise has had since the first one. And dare I say it was because of Jenna Ortega? I'm gonna leave that up to y'all. I'm gonna leave the numbers up to y'all. But it's when you have a movie this high, I don't see, obviously movies are not about the number, it's about how good they are. But like having such a high number for the sixth one and then going to the seventh one where it's really, not people don't care about Sydney, but like her story's over. Her story's been over since the
Let her
fourth
rest.
movie, arguably. Like, let her rest. She has kids. Let her rest. Like, let her live.
I just I fear it is the end for Scream. Like,
I mean, at some point, it's got to end.
I just felt like they were on such like a good roll. Like, I feel like they could have pushed a few more with that storyline with Sam and Tara.
I think what's gonna happen is, depending on what the seventh movie is gonna go about, if it's good or bad, if they even decide to make it, I think they're just gonna shelve it off for a few years and they're just gonna reboot Scream, which is what I don't want to happen. 'Cause it's one of my favorite movies, and I just don't want that.
I'm frustrated thinking about it.
It gets me just so. I don't want the fact that like Scream could just like get rebooted and like you're not erasing, but you're just recreating somebody else's hard work and like having new cameras and new actors and new actresses and but like
that's just it becomes boring.
You just did that with the fifth movie. Like,
you just did that with the fifth movie. Is arguably the first one just rehashed with a new cast, which is like a little bit of my critique with the fifth one, but
oh my goodness.
I can still accept it for what it is. But I don't know. I'm nervous. I don't think.
I was excited because I had just gotten into the fandom.
The sixth one was so
movie was good.
And now
The sixth one.
But I don't think I'm gonna watch it in theaters. I don't for my
I'm
good
not watching
conscience.
it. Yeah.
I don't want to support that company that shall not be named on this podcast because I don't want to get sued. But I don't think I'm gonna watch it in theaters for the support of the previous cast. But I'm so torn as a Scream fan because like I want to watch it again for Nev Campbell because like I do love Nev Campbell, and like we're having Kevin Williamson direct the movie when he started the movie, so it's like as a Scream fan I feel like I should be, but I feel like I'm just gonna watch it like at home or when it comes to streaming because it's like I don't want them to have any of my money. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Not sorry. Yeah.
Girl, you gonna get us in trouble. Any chance I had of being in a Scream movie is gone.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe if I pursue acting and they rebooted it in a few years, then
Yeah, it could be you.
good for me.
Dang, it would be older.
Old as fuck. Can you believe this? The first movie is gonna be, like 27 years, I think.
It's
in
older than
December.
us. That's for
Well,
sure.
Yeah, make me feel
obviously. Obviously, but it's 27 years old. I had it the other day. I saw this backpack, and it was for The Incredibles, and it was like the 20th anniversary for The Incredibles. I'm like, there's no way The Incredibles is 20. And I was like, wait, I'm 20. The movie came out in 2004. Shit. Well,
Hot take. I
I'm
don't.
old.
I don't like The Incredibles.
Really? Why not?
I just don't. I don't know. I also don't like Toy Story.
Well,
I'm not ashamed
dolls.
to say. I'm
Well,
not-
dolls,
yeah, I'm not
toys.
ashamed
That
to
makes
say
sense. But
that
The Incredibles,
scared me.
what they do to you? Their family is supers.
I don't know. I just feel like the animation looks so weird to me when I was a kid.
Well, to be fair, they did come out in 2004, and animation, like 3D animation, wasn't the best for humans. at the
I don't know.
time.
It's just like I guess I wasn't into like superheroes growing up. I was a typical like little girl. My Barbie
Oh, the
movies,
Barbies.
and I didn't like actual Barbies, as I stated
know,
previously,
dolls,
because I
obviously.
absolutely massacred them. But I love the Barbie movies, and I love princess movies and Disney movies. So I was not like an interesting kid.
Well, that's not like not saying you're not interesting. It's like
No,
Incredibles
yeah,
is,
no,
like,
I'm
iconic.
super interesting now. You know.
You got such a taste.
Stop
That's
it.
good
Oh my god,
judgment, that's good
everyone's
taste.
literally flirting with me today. It's so crazy. Yeah, no. Incredibles. No to Toy Story. No, thank
I
you.
get you. I get you.
Yeah,
That's like-
I didn't start liking superhero stuff till like recently. I didn't start becoming interesting till recently.
This is me and just Jordan just rambling. Do you have any
Yeah, do you have any
questions?
thoughts, comments, concerns? No? No, he's just there.
I'm just here.
Yeah.
Fly on the wall.
Yeah.
This is like our talk. This is like our talk show. This is like our talk show. I'm having like all my talk show fantasies. I love doing that when I'm in private, just pretending I want to talk. I'm on Jimmy Fallon, and I'm
Literally.
like, yeah, like it was so interesting working with Chris Evans. Like, you know, he's such a really nice guy. Like,
Yeah,
oh
love
man, like
him.
this is fulfilling all of my like my talk show energy. So
Yeah, you're
I thank y'all for
welcome.
that.
You're welcome. Yes. Yeah, anytime.
Always welcome back.
Always
Yes.
so fun.
Yeah,
Always
you'll
clean out
definitely
my
be
shop.
back around.
Oh, I'll definitely. I'll be back.
Be back.
Can't say that, but I'll be back.
Oh. Yeah.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know, but we know.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
We know.
We know not to say that. Mm-hmm. We know.
So,
How long have we been going on for?
I don't know.
Oh no. And I was saying.
Dang.
I got a lot of editing to do. Sorry for y'all.
Yeah.
It's just gonna get cut.
We're
We're just gonna chop it up into different angles, and that's it.
Dang.
It's raw, man.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. We have David.
That's our show.
Thank you for watching. Please come back and also make sure to watch all of our previous videos. Like, subscribe, turn on the notifications if you want to see us again. Even if you don't, do it anyway.
Well, yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Also, stay tuned for a horror film I'm working on with Jordan.
Yeah. Something fun in the works, guys. You're gonna love it.
What, like a week, right? A week till we start filming.
Yep.
Exciting.
Maybe you'll see some familiar faces. Maybe David will be there. Maybe some other people in our podcast.
The world
in
may
past.
never
Yeah.
know. We don't know
Yeah,
what
you'll
held
have to
to me.
wait and see. Stay tuned.
Some airs, we'll be done with it.
I know.
Yeah.
Please.
We'll be done.
But yeah, stay tuned. And
Stay spooky, guys. Love you. Bye.